Melee is a piece of shit game, and let me tell you why. Melee is probably one of the slowest Smash games I've ever had to experience playing. And if you just starting out playing Melee, or you played it a lot when you were younger and you didn't know about the competitive scene at all, you probably know what I'm talking about. The game just feels kind of clunky. And when they found out things like L canceling and wave dashing, that made the game a lot faster. You could move around faster with wave dashing, and you can cancel out lag with L canceling. L canceling is basically when you do an aerial attack, that move's gonna have a decent amount of lag when you hit the ground after doing that aerial. But if you press L 10 frames before you hit the ground, that'll cancel out most of the lag, so you can keep going on with the match. You don't have to experience that end lag. And if you compare it to games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, those games have finite amounts of lag. If you do a move, you're gonna have the same amount of lag every time, no matter what inputs you put in. And that's sort of the problem I see with Melee. I think L canceling is one of the stupidest game design decisions I've ever seen in a fighting game. In Street Fighter, when you do a Hadouken, you're gonna have 10 frames of lag, and then you act out of that, and you know when to act out of that, and the game is just very concrete. You know the results of everything that's going to happen. It's not, maybe I pressed L at the right time, or maybe I didn't. In Melee, it's like such an insanely small window to press the L trigger or R trigger to cancel out the lag. It's almost insane. From a game design standpoint, it's so confusing to me as a designer to expect the player to put in an input in such a small window just to cancel out lag. It's fucking stupid. Wave dashing I don't have such a big problem with because it's kind of an okay design decision because you want to keep some momentum from your air dodge, and transferring it into the ground is fine, and it's not such a hard move to pull off. Wave dashing isn't my big issue. My big issue is with L canceling. It's so dumb to me. Why do I have to press an extra button just to play the game fast? Why can't the game just be fast by default? And then I hear all these Melee players like, oh, our game's so much more technical, our game's so much faster. And I'm like, oh yeah, have fun pressing L 10,000 times during a match just so you can play the game correctly. I hear so many Melee players complaining about how their hands hurt, how much stress it takes to play the game at a fast pace. There's even threads on Smash Fours about how to stretch your hands before you play and how to strengthen your fingers. I haven't done much looking around, but I don't think I've ever heard of any Street Fighter players or Mortal Kombat players complaining about how much their hands hurt from playing the game. Even if you look at the design of a normal fight stick, all the buttons are set up so that you can reach them all with one finger. There's not a lot of moving around. There's a decent amount of moving around if you want to play the game fast, and that's to be expected. You want to have your hands moving quickly to play the game quickly, and your other hand is just on the control stick, so it's a lot of just click, 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 and clack. But in Melee, if you look at the input, if you look at a video of Armada and how fast his inputs are, or if you even look at their hands while they're playing, there's so much going on. Their hands have to do these fucking gymnastics just to play the game fast. From a game design standpoint, I would never want to have my players have to stress their fingers so much just to play the game. And then Brawl came out, and it was slow as fuck. Almost slower than Melee. And then people got really pissed off because they couldn't play the game as fast as they could in Melee. But if they designed Brawl just to be fast by default, people would fucking love Brawl. They'd be like, fuck Melee, get that shit out, just throw it in the trash where it belongs. And then people would have been playing Brawl competitively, and they did the same thing in Smash 4. People would have been playing that way more competitively than they do now, because the game would be a lot faster. I see a lot of Melee players bragging about how much technical skill their game takes, and when people want to get better at Melee, when they're just starting out in the competitive scene, they're always talking about, oh, I gotta get better tech skill, I gotta improve my tech skill, I gotta be faster at the game. I see a big problem in the fighting game community when most of the difficulty curve of learning the game comes with a physical barrier rather than a mental barrier. What I mean by that is, to be good at Melee, you first have to train your hands to put in these insanely fast inputs so you can actually play the game at the same speed that other top players are playing the game. And then, after you get all of that settled, then comes the mental part of the game. In a game like Brawl or Smash 4, yeah, there's some tech you have to learn, but it's not paramount to playing the game in a fast way, because those games have a default speed. You can't speed it up by pressing more buttons. That's why a lot more people play Smash 4 now than they do Melee, because Melee is such a scary game to pick up, because you really have to put in so much time and dedication to making your inputs as fast as they need to be, and then you can actually get on to learning the game. If you don't have proper tech skill in that game, you're just gonna get crushed every time. You have no chance against someone who's faster than you. But in Smash 4, all the moves have a default speed, so you can actually stand a chance, maybe take a stock off of some top players if you know what you're doing mentally. So I think the solution to this is, when they come out with Smash 5, or if they ever do, I think Smash 4 might be the last one, but if they come out with a new one, what they need to do is make all of the aerial moves and whatever moves just fast. I mean, fast as fuck. Fast fucking light fucking speed. Sonic speed! Trying to keep up! Then people will flock to that game like it's fucking something to flock to. I don't know, I can't think right now. That game would be huge. If all of the aerial moves in the next Smash game had low ending lag, just like in Melee, but you don't have to L cancel, people would fucking love it. Melee players, I ask you, would you really miss it so much if you didn't have to press L? You would really miss pressing L. That's paramount to you. I don't think so. I think a lot of people would be happy just to play the game fast and for it to be, easy to play. And if, like in Melee, they wanted it to exist as a party game and somewhat a competitive game, I feel like that's how they designed it, then it could still be that party game / competitive game, because people who play the game casually, they're flying around doing all these crazy moves. They don't know what they're doing, but it's fun to them. And you're playing in free-for-all, everyone's just hitting each other in such a fast rate. Things are happening. Items are flying. Moves are flying. So that's what I think. I think L canceling really shouldn't have been a thing. Smash games should just be fast by default, and it would just be insane. It'd be fun to watch. It'd be crazy to play. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. Any Melee fans sort of disagree with me? Tell me your thoughts. Anyone who would love to see this crazy new game, tell me what you think. Tell me some other things that you think should be in a new Smash game, or things that you don't like in other Smash games, aside from like the low lag and items. Thanks for watching. That's about all I have left to say. My name's Retro Turtle, and I'll see you next time.